Joey C, we're back. Very humid out. I almost canceled tonight. Bunch of rain came in all night and day. I almost. But I'm gonna go ahead. Plus I'm hurting. I ain't walked so long. It's been a couple months now, a few months. I'm hurting. We're gonna get through this. Start out an hour today, maybe less, 45 minutes to an hour walk. Tomorrow we'll jump up to a full hour. Next day we'll gradually head. What's happening, people? Just gotta open the door here for my wife and I'll continue my world famous walk and talk. In a few months, we had I think we did about, we did a lot of weeks of it. I know that. I forgot how many weeks. I'll see you in a little bit. Love you. Love you. Love you too.
Be careful.
But don't make it home, means I got hurt.
Yeah. You don't make it home,
Means I got hurt. All right. We got here. Huh? Florida heat is fucking brutal. Slapdog Timothy Smallwood, what's happening? Great timing, old man. Yeah, I know. Always an old man. If I'm an old man, what do they call you, Rosie? Fucking eccentric? Awesome AC. Awesome AC, what's happening? Now let's go down this dark road and see what kind of trouble I get into this way. Huh? You ever get when you ain't walked or exercised in a few months, and the first thing that starts hurting on you when you walk? You're using your back legs, all your muscles. My back is killing me. It's gonna take 2 weeks to get my back thing on to do this walk. Good water, Chad. What's happening, partner? What's going on? I got just a two-piece outfit. I got those shoes I got today, and I ain't want to wear the jacket, man. It's too hot out here. I have no idea what I'm walking into down here. I ain't even scouted in the neighborhood. All I know is Chris Mack in the house. Make it home safer. You made it home safe for Vegas. Good news. Good news. Glad to hear that, buddy. I ran the 5K while I was there. I know you told me so you finished like a 6th overall or something, right? 6th in. There was 4 other females better than you said, but you did pretty well. Very impressed. Very impressed. Very impressed. Man, it is smoking humid. It's got to be 94% to 95% humidity right now. It is, wow. It's bad. My back is like, ugh. I tell you what, I should have never stopped walking. I should have toughed it out because I got even stiffer than I was when I first started out the last time. I'm worse. My back feels like, oh my God. But I need to do this. I need to do this just regularly. I should never stop. Just the heat that kills me, man. But you know what? You can always jump in a cold shower when you get home. I just got to program myself to, pain is going to be gain. I got to know that. I got to program myself that pain's gain. So you got to. My legs are fine. My back. Every step I take, my back is just I'm sitting all the time, man. That share podcast, man. So. We got here. Thanks, Joey. I was 4th in my age group, 45th overall. Thank you. That's right. I knew you were 4th somewhere. I paid attention. I just didn't know if it was overall. I know you said something about there was some pretty fast ladies there too, and that's awesome news, man. That's just awesome, man. That's awesome. I knew an old guy, well in his 80s, in Florida. He used to be a runner. He used to go all those things like that. Now, when I was driving a taxi, I used to take him to the airport to go back home. He lived on the East Coast, and he'd go visit his kids. And he was well in his 80s. He was running these 5K shit, such good shape at 80-some years old. And he told me, this is his exact words, he said, sitting in this cab, junk food, and getting fatter by the hour, is going to be very detrimental to you if you don't start now. And that was, let's see, probably 2010, 11, or 12. And so at least 10 plus years. It had to be more than 10 years. So it had to be like, he says, it's not too late. Start now. Start just building up your cardio and walk. And start running when you can. Do it every day. Don't stop. He said, take a couple days rest, it's like weekends or whatever. But he says, when you get my age, you'll be able to fucking still keep it up. That's what he told me. Now, I don't know if he was just trying to make a joke. And I told him, come on, man, you still got to use Viagra, I'm sure, at 80 years old. He said, hell no. That's what he told me. That was funny. I thought that was funny. He says, I got me a 55-year-old girlfriend. He was like 84, I think. He says, and I got to be correct. I got to lay that pipe to her every night. That's what he told me at 80-something years old. Yep. What do you think about that? You think he's telling me the truth? Spread the good word. Articulate John, what's happening? Walk the earth, girl. Yeah. I tell you, when I'm able to do it, when I'm back in where it's not bothering me. Like last time, it took me about a week and I was fine. This time, I think it's going to take me 2 weeks. My back was just killing me, man. I'm going to be sore tonight. No doubt about that. But I'll start stretching tomorrow too, a little bit. Plus, I don't know where the water is. It rained so hard all night today. I'm walking in the mudslides here. Hey, Mikey, what's up, buddy? Yo, welcome to the neighborhood. I never know where I'm going to wade into or run into when I'm on these walks because I go down a lot of dark roads. So at any given time, as you know, when I was out the other night after midnight when I was by that hotel, you see what happened. There was people I didn't even see in bushes and on the ground and hiding in shrubbery and trees. And all I know is 45, 50 people shot out of there when the cops pulled up that I didn't even know were there. So now I got to really think. If I didn't see that, and that's probably a common thing every day, when I go down some of these roads, how many people are really lurking? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's tough too when you're older. I don't have that. My ears ain't as good. Like I can, when you're young, you can hear people approaching you or see shadows, or you can see out of the left and right side really good. Like I don't have that no more, man. As good as I used to. So. Of course, most people ain't going to attack you front your face anyhow. If anybody's going to get you, they're going to come from behind anyhow. I mean, it doesn't matter if they can overpower you or not. Most people are not going to confront you face on face. The only one that would do that if a guy's like coming up to ask you for something and waiting to see if you pull something out of your pocket, like money or a wallet. Like if he asks you for spare change or something or $1, and he wants to eyeball your wallet, see if you got a pocket full of money. That, or he wants to see he spotted jewelry on you. And he's coming up making an excuse. Hey, you got a cigarette or something? I don't smoke. Or you got a lighter, whatever the excuse is. And then when you reach for whatever, that's when they'll flock you, You gotta always be alert. Then no one's gonna come up to you and just say, hey, motherfucker, I want to fuck you up. There's nobody gonna do that. Nobody does that shit, I ain't never seen it. Unless it was homeboys that were, at each other. Because somebody fucked somebody's wife or girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? That's the only time I've ever seen. But those are usually not fighting words. That's usually 9mm to the head. At least in my neighborhood in Chicago, that's how it was. You fuck someone's girlfriend or wife, and it was one of your homeboys, you're probably going to get a bullet in your head. But you probably better think quick that if he finds out I'm dead, I better go kill him. That's what you got to think. So... it fucking sucks, don't it? That if you're gonna play that role on the street, and be that street thug, and you decide, well, you want to be a fucking asshole, and you want to go sleep with someone's girlfriend or wife, you gotta fucking think about maybe possibly killing that person in Minecraft. You know what I'm saying? I'm just making small talk here. When I started thinking about my young years, I had a vision today, or a past vision, flashback. It was just a deep thought. And I was in a good mood. I started thinking about a couple nights in the neighborhood, a couple friends of mine, and you know, I'm very big on when he got banned, 99, 09, 19. So at least 35 years, right? He's still the most wanted autograph in baseball, and still charging for it. He made his living. That's how he made his living. That and going to show. Well, of course, shows became obsolete. Those card shows ain't like they used to be. I mean, used to be able to get them all over the place. When I was in Chicago, there was one every weekend somewhere in the region, and then you had the national one, the big one, and that's where you got everybody there selling cards and jerseys. And you know, as a bat boy, one of the privileges I had is, with the exception of a few players, Pete being one of them. Pete very rarely cracked his bat. He hit with a Mizuno bat because he was the first player, I think, to sign with Mizuno. I don't know if Mizuno's around anymore. I don't even know if they are, but back when Pete was playing, he signed he had a contract under Mizuno. Everything he had was Mizuno, gloves, bats. But if he cracked his bat, which was very rarely, I bet you he couldn't have cracked more than 2 or 3 bats in his whole career, in his 23-year career. But when he did, he immediately would come wherever city he was and go to that bat boy and say, make sure to put that bat in my locker, that cracked bat. You were not allowed, we had a privilege. Did I freeze up? Ah, damn, I froze up. Ah, come on. Hello? All right, there, I don't know what happened. I froze up there. I had to take a seat for a minute. So I don't know how long was I frozen? Just a few minutes? I gotta get it. I'm hurting bad, man. Fucking back is killing me. Let me just stop here. What was the last thing you guys heard me say? I saw it froze up. All right, so let me just take a rest here for a second. Touch base with you guys. Let me see what my man. So I was saying that Pete had a contract with Mizuno. He very rarely cracked the bat. Probably, if you're lucky, maybe. I think I'm saying 3 in his whole career, but maybe it could have been more. Let's just be realistic and say he didn't crack more than a dozen bats in his whole entire career. Maybe 1 a year. Maybe not even that. I don't even think it was 1 a year. But he was one of the players that when he did, whatever city he was in, he'd go to the bat boy, get me that bat, my cracked bat, and put it in my locker. Because we used to keep the bats, the players. I mean, the bat boys, we could keep the bats. And in my era, when I was working, I had Willie McCovey's bat, Lou Brock, Gary Carter. So many Hall of Famers that if they cracked a bat, it was ours. The club didn't care. And we had a choice. Our boss at the clubhouse at the time, we had all those people that go to those shows looking for memorabilia to sell at their shows. So we'd have an auction at the end of the homestand at the bottom of the stairs, sell all the bats, cracked bats at the highest bidder. Depending on what name, I'd make a list, and there was a big guy about 6'7" named Dave Medema. And he worked for the government. Matter of fact, he worked for the IRS. But he was a baseball fanatic, and he went to all those card convention shows. And he never, ever wore anything but a real jersey of somebody. But he owned probably 500 different jerseys. He would wear them, get his favorite players, wear them for a while, and then he'd go take them and trade them or sell them. And, he would buy a lot of stuff. We treated him like gold because he was the guy that got all the money. And I tell you, I got as high as 50, 60 bucks a bat for a crack bat in those days. But Pete Rose, there was a handful of players that they wanted their crack bat because they didn't want you selling it. They knew what we did with it. It was ours. It became our property. The club, they didn't care. Once it was cracked, they didn't want to take that dead weight with them on the road. So the equipment manager said, keep them, get rid of them. But if he knew he had a list of players that wanted their crack bat, because maybe they would fix it and just use it in the cage, to keep using it. Pete I think did that. He had them a little repaired. He couldn't use them in the game no more, but he would use them if he was in a cage. And the other reason is he didn't want you selling them. Johnny Bench would never sign for us baseball cards. Back then, people used to get baseball cards. He would never sign a card. He would tell us, I'll sign 2 things for you, a ball and a picture, that's it. He wouldn't sign, he would not autograph none of the baseball cards, because back then, I don't know if it's still done, before the POAs came out, certain players signed, it was valuable, very valuable. So the bench refused to sign him. He was the biggest jerk anyhow. You couldn't get him into nothing. But I mean, you go to guys like, and so I know you guys can figure this out. So I discovered a little racket here, you know. I'm like, shit, man. I made a killing last year on autographed bats. I mean, signing bats, and someone playing to get, or selling the cracked bats, and some of them might get signed, and that would even be more. I said, and it's a perfect venture because we're allowed to do it because, you know, it's extra money for the Fat Boys. So me and the other guy would split it. And we had to cut in, of course, the assistant, he make us take this, we had to wet his beak a little bit. He had wanted a taste of everything or else we couldn't do it. That was the deal. He would blackmail us. You know, he was like 21 and we were like 13. He blackmailed us. He took a little piece of it. I think he took 10% or something. And he's still with the Cubs now. He's the assistant in the visiting clubhouse still, 45 years later. How about that one? And Mike City Internet Provider, Walker Talk, sent something to your cash. Oh, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. So, you know, so this became, I started thinking, you know, I was very, listen, you guys know my backstory as a kid. If I wanted anything, clothes, nice shoes, to be in style, my mother was just not an option. She was left without some child support, barely could keep the food on the table. And, you know, if I wanted those things, I had to work, and I did. I worked very hard. I started at a young age. So I saw, man, I got this crack bat business going. Next year, they're going to only one bat boy. They're firing the other bat boy. So I knew I had 83 all locked up myself. I said, that's going to be all mine. Now, if I can get certain players to sign like dozens of baseballs, how am I going to get the baseballs? So now I got to be really creative. I can't steal them. So I have to start asking every equipment manager that came into town, hey, man, can you spare me 2 dozen of baseballs for the baseball team? Yeah, no problem. Leave me 2 dozen baseballs. Next equipment team comes in and regularly, can I get 2 dozen baseballs, please? Sure, why not? What do you need it for? Yeah, for our team, you know. All right, no problem. They donate them. So next thing you know, you do this twice a year, beginning of the season, end of the season. And some of them go, hey, didn't I give you 2 in the beginning of the year? Yeah. Well, ain't that enough? I go, well, I mean, that's fine. You don't have to give them. I'm just asking. All right, take them. So now you got 4 dozens of baseballs. And I had a little stash spot at the ballpark. I had a little key to a little, in the tunnel when you go to the dugout, there was like a groundskeeper room. There were several of them. One wasn't being used, so I asked the groundskeeper, hey, can I access this? This is store like a trunk out here? He said, yeah, no problem. He gave me this key, put a lock on it, gave me a padlock, and gave me a key. He goes, we don't use it no more. So I stored these old equipment, these old trainer trunks that weren't being used, and I cleaned them out, and I started stacking my dozen of baseballs in there. And then the next season, I start getting them signed like Strawberry. I'll go when he come in, hey, Straw, will you sign a dozen of baseballs for me? Yeah, no problem, kid, just put them on my chair, all right. So I do that around to all the stars. And then I go to these shows and I sell them. I make a fucking killing. I did that for a long time. You know? And then players got really sketchy about signing stuff, and a lot of shit was falsified. People were autographing and forging shit. And so they started with the POA, and then MLB got involved in it, and they put a clamp on us selling the crack bats no more. They couldn't do that. Nothing could be official license unless it was under Major League Baseball. They wanted their hands and everything, kind of like the government does when the mafia had to pick 3 on the streets. You know, the government intercedes. We got to bust you guys. You can't have gambling out there. What do? They put commercial pick 3 ticket machines in every state, in every convenience store. That's all it's about. They just want the racket. They want to do the same thing they're doing. So they take it away and tax it. So same thing in baseball. They wanted to take everything away. Anything the small guy was making, they weren't making. Let us. Like anything else, when you're small time, they're small time and only last for a short time. You understand? That's the fucking truth. So when you get a hit like that, you just run with it till it runs out. If you're smart, you save your money, and then you go to the next venture. At least it's better than robbing. At least it's better than fucking going to knock someone over the head. You know, it's an honest way to make a living. It's a little hustle, but, you know, you find little ways like that. When you're poor and you ain't got nothing like I did, you know, I could have went the easy route. I could have went out and had a gun at 13 and go fucking put a gun in someone's face and take their money. It wasn't my style, man. This wasn't my style. I could have done anything else if all the gangbangers were doing. I didn't want to do that. I figured, all right, I got to get creative here. And I got to, you know, tell a little fib to the trainers. I get a dozen baseballs, get autographed. They would have gave it to me, but I would have been in it. It would have been maybe 6 baseballs, 8 baseballs that have been in. So I had to store these for a whole season. every team in twice in the East. Back then it was just the East and the West, and then the West came in once a year. You went once a year by you, and once a year went by them. So Dodgers came once, Padres, Giants, whoever else was in that fucking division. I don't remember. This is before the Colorado Rockies, before the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is before all the, the East Coast and West Coast. And those when the equipment managers were cool. Those guys had been in those jobs for 40 years. So when that was done, they gave away these card sets at Wrigley Field. Now, I was already considered an adult. I already had my first child, and I was going to be 18. And this was right after the 83 season, which was my last year as being a bat boy. I became a dad. Season ended, playoffs, the Cubs didn't go, but the playoffs started in baseball, World Series. Bam, my daughter was born end of November. I'm 17 and a half years old with a fucking kid. Boy. And I really had to grow up quick. So here I am. And I know I'm not going to be bat boy next year. First of all, I didn't want to go back and put a bat boy. I've already got a fucking kid. I'm practically married. Got my own place. I didn't want to bat boy anymore. I wanted to stay in the locker room and be an assistant. Well, they wind up moving me to the Cubs side and talk to me if I wanted to get involved with Bob Searles, who was a cinematographer. And he wanted to teach me what he does. Now, he did it the old school way. He had all the old cameras, the thick cassette. They looked like cassettes, but they were thick. I think 8mm film, whatever it was. And they all went to digital. Of course, everything's digital now, but I couldn't even begin to. Everything's digital. So, but his era, because he did it like for 40 years, from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, he was a cinematographer. That's what they call him. Now they just call him, video managers of the video room, and they're there. They have their own office now with all this equipment that players make appointments. Players sign a list now. They want this time slot to go view their video, and then your job is to pull it, have it ready, so when the player sits down with the coach, it's all ready to go. Now it's all sophisticated. Those guys make money. When they first started doing it, when I was learning, it was interns. You were an intern. But me, I already worked with the Cubs, I was already on payroll, so they kept me at hourly wage. Anyhow, I'll let you see some of the streets, and I can see, sure you can still hear me. Your sound has gone out. How's my sound now, everybody? I don't know. Every time the phone rings, this is I'm doing an iPhone. I just switched to iPhone about a week ago. I don't know nothing about it, and I'm streaming from my iPhone. So I like it because I can have two numbers on one SIM card. So I got the number that everybody has in the world to dox me with, my doxing number, which was my regular number, ported over to here, and then I got me my private line, which only family gets, and I could turn each of one of them off. So I probably should have turned this line off, but I'm afraid if my daughter calls me, I don't want to miss her. Let me see what time is it. She still could call me up to 11 o'clock. I sent her money for commissary. I don't know if she didn't. Usually she'll call me right away to thank me. So I'm kind of worried that she might have got in trouble in prison or something. She was having problems with the girls, and she don't want to get in trouble and lose no game time. Because if she smacks the shit out of them, she could lose her game time. And I don't, she's got 20 months left, or they could take away 2 months of game time. I told her just maintain as much as you can without fighting. If you have to, if she has to, she's gonna have to. Problem is, if she does, I'm worried in that respect, because she won't stop. She got in a fight in the county jail, and this is what I was told by the correctional officer. This girl kept harassing her, and she said, "Leave me alone. You don't want to mess with me. Leave me alone." She's deaf. She's silent, writing stuff down, and they separated them. They put my daughter somewhere else. My daughter went back to the same dorm. Well, my daughter beat the so bad, she broke a lot of bones in her face. And I don't know how she scanned it out of there without no extra charges. But the girl refused to press charges. And the sheriff inside the correction said, she didn't press charges, we're not going to file new charges. She's already got enough trouble. She caught a break. She must have put the fear of God in there, girl. She had to have. They said she looked like a jigsaw fucking puzzle. My daughter pre-warned her. She'll make trouble. She'll finish trouble. And she kept calling, "Dad, I don't know what to do here. I don't want to get no more charges. Please tell me." She's talking through the sign language interpreter. And I'm like, you know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you, Heather. You can't let nobody punk you in jail. That's the best advice I could give you. Don't start trouble. Mind your own business as much as you can. Don't borrow things from people. Don't ask for commissary from people. Don't borrow money. Don't get involved in gambling. Be yourself. But if it comes down to where 4 or 5 people are gonna start jumping you and they're gonna think you're a bitch, you got no choice. You have to. You have to. Otherwise, you'll be. It's bad. You got to remember, you can't run nowhere. You think you can run to the guards, then you become a rat. The guards are gonna turn you out anyhow. So you got to do what you got to do. So she did. She earned the respect. Now she's having this problem down in prison. She's in a faith-based prison, and there's 2 women prisons in Florida. One of them is the worst in the United States, under federal investigation for years about guards raping inmates and a lot of stuff going on in there. So she got out of that one. They put her to the faith-based one, and she's just deaf. She's the only deaf girl, and it's hard for her. But I can't tell her not to fight if she has to. If it's survival for life, she's gonna have to do what she has to do. And I worry every night that I'm gonna get a phone call that something bad happened to her, you know, or she got in a fight and she hurt somebody bad. And if she does that, that's the problem. She can't stop. She's like me. She's gonna stop. So if there's no one there to help her, pull her out at that point, another girl could go bad, and then she's done for life. You know, and that's what I worry about. You think every single day I figure a phone call's gonna come, something happened to my daughter, or something. She's done something that she had to do something to defend herself, and then she got she got life in prison or something. You know, I pray to God that don't happen. She's almost home free, man. And she said, Dad, I made that one mistake, and I'm so sorry what I did to you guys. She said, I will never want to come back to this place. She said, this is a hellhole, and I don't ever want to come here and live here again. She said, well, I could say you're matured. I could say you're being accountable. I could say that you're very hurt by what you did, and I know it was an isolated incident. And then let's just move forward, and when you get out, let's strive to be. All right. Like I said, it tore me up. It's not sitting well. I know he did wrong and he gambled, but there's nobody in the history going to break his record. Too many. They make too much money and they don't go that long no more. And how many people are going to get 200 hits a year, 10 years in a row like he did? It's just not going to happen, man. And he'll never know now. And I bet, I'm sure he left strict instructions with his family, his wife and his daughters and his son, to keep pursuing his dream of being in the Hall of Fame. And I'm sure they will for him, and I'm sure some good friends of his will. He deserves it. But the problem is these tight-ass fucking owners, here's what's gonna happen. They let him in, then the steroid thing's gonna come out about making all those guys not have asterisks on their records, and they're gonna want it. It's gonna cause a whole chain of reaction. So the safest way out is, now it's even safer. Pete Rose is gone. We ain't got him down our bracket no more calling us and trying to get in the Hall of Fame. Because right now, Pete's only shot to get in the Hall of Fame. It has to be done by base. At first, the sports writers are right. They're the ones that elect you. And then that goes on for so many years. And then the players, the other Hall of Famers can vote you in. And now I think it's down to just the board of the Hall of Famer of MLB that can make the decision now. So he's got, in his case, I think it's in his favor now. If he was still alive, he got the right panel, the right board members. Maybe he could have got board members that he played with. Except for Johnny Bench, he'd never sign off on Pete going to. I guess can't believe how selfish Johnny Bench is. I remember him speaking in the AAA All-Star game. I remember Johnny Bench speaking at the All-Star game in AAA. He was our guest speaker, and I remember him tell people, we were told not to ask no Pete Rose questions for my boss, and sure enough, we got someone that did. And he told this long story about Pete. He's trashing Pete. And he goes, well, you know what? Here, if you feel Pete should be in the Hall of Fame, then go home and tell your kids it's okay to cut school. It's okay to slap a kid in the face. Because if you break the rules here, you're setting precedent for all your kids in the world to say it's okay to break rules. Pete Rose did it, so I can do it. And that, and he makes sense, yes. But it's a far stretch what he's saying. They were teammates. And I'm not saying every teammate got along. I've seen fist fights in the locker room between players. I've seen non-fist fights where it was one punch and the guy was laid out on the floor. Catchers are strong guys. You don't want to fuck with catchers. They're fucking strong as hell, man. Those guys are fucking rocks. Brick walls, man. P. Rose was a brick wall. He was Charlie Hustle, man. That guy was... Well, I'm coming into some trouble down here, boys. We could be in anything now. So I'll put the camera on that way. Let's see. Hang on. We got some action up here. Hang on. There we go. We got some action up here. So I don't know. But you know. So I don't know. I just really tore up about it. I probably, if I don't do something tonight, I'll do it tomorrow on him. I want to do a tribute to Pete Rose. Number 14. I wore 14 too. That was my number. Yeah, Pete Rose was the best, man. And he liked clubhouse staff people. He was really good to every clubhouse staff, especially at home when he was in Cincinnati and Philadelphia. He treated those guys well, man. 75 World Series, he bought all the bat boys and all the clubhouse staff, each of them a Jeep. There were 6 people. He bought 6 Jeeps brand new out of a showroom. Gave them to them as gifts. This kind of guy with his World Series money. Back then, they weren't making that kind of money. You know, so he was a very good guy. But he was making so much money for signing autographs and doing conventions. You know, it was cool. So, got a little date. I'm going to walk to this light up here. How you doing tonight? What's happened? How are you? All right, good. So, yeah, so I'm going to walk to the light. But, yeah, so... Yeah, Pete was an interesting character. He never stopped gambling, though. He liked his gambling. He liked betting on horses and betting on his sports. One thing I'll say. I saw an interview he did not too long ago with one of the Boone brothers. Bob Boone's kids, Brett, and what was the other one's name? They both played big leagues. Which one played with the Yankees? Was it Brett or the other one? Forgot. But anyhow, one of the Boone brothers, who they all played in the major leagues. Their father was a major leaguer, catcher. I believe one was an infielder. I think they both were infielders. Man, I'm sweating. How much time we got in here? Let's see. Man, we got nobody here either, huh? Oh man. Well, I guess a lot of people. Funny how everybody asked me for the walk and talk back, and you got fucking 7 people. That's amazing, isn't it? Pretty much amazing. What I'm talking about. When it comes to discouragement and sitting here and pouring your guts out, and you guys think I'm insanely nuts for getting upset? Nah. No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm not at all. It's about respect with me. You know. You ask me, you tell me I get, you know, and I got this many people here. No, sorry. This again won't work. It won't work. So it's just not gonna work for me. I don't care who likes it, who lumps it, who cares. I don't give a fuck. I don't. So and the people that are loyal, I love you and thank you. That the ones that are true blue, which is a handful, you know, 20 people maybe, 25, 30 people. The rest of the people that bitch and complain and do all this fucking bullshit, bellyaching and shit, and cry about every motherfucking Tom, Dick, and Harry, they're fucking cunts. That's what they are, true cunts. And I don't give a fuck. My approach is different. I'm not fucking Shuli Egar. I'm not fucking Bob Levy. I'm not motherfucking Zen. I'm not Mike. I'm not fucking Patrick Melton. I'm not Quadfather. I'm my fucking self, right? So the people that don't like me, that keep fucking bitching and crying and calling Bob Levy up to fucking talk to me, go fuck yourself. Be a fucking bitch or be a man or a woman or whatever the fuck you are. And come to fucking me. Don't fucking do a third-party act on me. Because I told you before, I don't give a fuck. I'm the one guy that will tell your motherfucking ass off and keep it real. I don't gotta hide behind nobody. So, that's it. All right, so we're gonna head home. Turn around. Where you guys can learn. If you're gonna ask and fucking bitch and cry and I do what I fucking can and brought back, when you fucking show my respect, when you show me fucking respect, I'll show you fucking respect.